Every business problem is a self problem in a different costume. You have one life, you're one person, and you show up wearing whatever costume you want. And if you're able to put on a different costume at work and play a whole different role, that should be a sign. Like number one, like yellow, orange flag. You might be doing it healthy, so it isn't red flag yet, but I can guarantee you either in your home life, you're getting burnt out and you're using work to escape your home life, and do not do that. The first big change I made was 90 days in, and it was, we're killing the full staff meeting. Your department heads need their own meeting that you're not in. And my book is titled Your Team Comes Last. It's not because I'm an asshole. It's because I want to take care of them. I want to give them everything they deserve, because if they don't want to be there, they can't serve my customer. But if they do love my customer and they do like what I want to give, they'll never want another job as long as they live.
I want to go back in time for you for a second here, right? Because there was an opportunity that you saw in this cannabis space, right? There was an opportunity there. And then with your legal background, you jumped on this opportunity. So explain how you saw it. How did you see it and how did you jump on it?
Well, the reality is that, I was a new business attorney in Denver, Colorado, and I had hung my shingle, and I didn't want to work for big companies. I wanted people that were starting businesses or had a business doing less than $1 million. I wanted to give them support so they could be entrepreneurs, right? I just wanted to support entrepreneurs. But this is 2008, 2009. The economy's crashing, stocks are plummeting, developers are losing their shorts, banks are running out of money, and nobody is opening a business. And if anyone has a business, they're just trying to protect their butts, and they really weren't spending to grow. And then Obama's administration released the Ogden memo and was like, we're not spending federal resources on prosecuting marijuana if the state has a program. And everybody bought a plane ticket and a U-Haul and brought their business to Colorado. Immediately, how do I get a business license? How do I get approved by the state? Well, what do? You Google marijuana business. Oh, no, there's none. Dang it. Well, there's a criminal lawyer. No, he doesn't. Well, he knew this guy. I was the guy. I hung my shingle. I was like, I'll be your attorney. I want you. This is a great place to be. And that's basically where it started. And it just snowballed from there. People wanted to tell their story, and people wanted help with leases and partnership agreements and raising capital and all that stuff. And I was more than happy to listen because, I liked what they were doing.
But it's kind of like a pattern for what you do now, because I want to help entrepreneurs.
Right.
Right. And then it's also how do I see the market as an entrepreneur, and how do I find the unique angle as an entrepreneur? And that's a lot of what it is that you do and how you advise people, right?
That's true. I think we all carry forward some pieces of what we were good at as kids, right? And then we add skills and experience to that. And I didn't feel seen as a kid for several circumstances that we can get into if we want to, but there were a lot of times in my small youth where I didn't feel seen. And so that was something that when I look back at junior high and high school, I was making sure other kids felt seen. I still from time to time was a punk like the rest of us. I mean, I went through puberty. I was nervous. I said things and mean shit to people. But for the most part, I wanted people to be seen. I made sure that the kids on the soccer team, the football team, the math class, I was friends with everybody. And when we were at the party, I was like, nah, this dude is going to get in front of you and he's going to fill up his cup. And I don't care if you don't like the clothes he's wearing, because that's my boy and you're my boy. And as a matter of fact, why don't y'all cheers? That was me. Come on in here. You're good. You can do it. So when I look at that in terms of entrepreneurship, what is the number one thing that holds people back from being successful entrepreneurs? Starting. Right? And what is the number one reason you don't start? It's not good enough. And what is it really? Oh, the idea, the plan, the money, the time. Mm, I'm not good enough. That's where it comes from. And that's my drive, right? That's my drive. And so that's the internal component. And then you take the skills. I got mostly straight A's through high school and college. I don't have the best memory. I don't win on IQ tests. I did pretty dang well at the LSAT for law school, but I wasn't 100th percentile. And what I actually did really good at was taking disparate ideas, finding patterns, and connecting the dots. That's me. And so when you take, I want you to be seen, I care about you, I want you to value yourself, and I can recognize the patterns around you. Now all of a sudden I'm counseling. It's just my natural state of being, if I'm honest, when I'm in flow.
Beautiful. And it's cool because I've watched you kind of in action and people start talking and like you kind of pull it out of them. It's like you're almost gravitated towards the person that like wants to do something, but is like too scared or too confused or doesn't know exactly what it is that they want. And like you just jump into a conversation with them. So how do you kind of find your people? Like, what are you looking for?
Honesty. Honesty. If there's an energy that goes with it, like how does the dog at the dog park know that that one in the corner is going to be the problem? Like it's just a feeling, right? Like at the same token, it's like the Geiger counter, and it's like it starts beeping, like someone has something inside of them and it's there, the energy's there. There's this mass of energy. But when the mass isn't equal to the action, I get curious, right? And I don't know how that particularly happens, but it happens. I mean, you've watched, like, you're not lying, like it happens. I remember myself, I was in Costa Rica with my wife on our first trip there, and she was getting drinks. We're in like the pool on the hill with like the infinity pool, the whole nine. And she's like going at the bar to get the drinks, and she comes back, and I'm talking to one of the guys that works there, but he had the rest of the day off, so he was chilling in the place in the pool with us. And like an hour and a half later, she's like, I am actually going to go get a massage. I'm going to see you at dinner at the reservations. Like, enjoy your vacation. And she meant it. And I was chatting with that guy about the business plan he had been working on and what he was trying to save up his money for and why he was working at that place. And this was where he'd come to, like, it just, I can't help it. I can't help it.
I love it. I love it. You're kind of at the early stages though of this, like, kind of transitioning from full-time law firm and like running your firm to like really going all in on consulting and everything. How is it going so far? What challenges are you having? What's really working for you? How are the clients doing?
Yeah. So number one, I think for me, the law firm itself, as kind of being a CEO of that law firm, it was less operations and more leadership and coaching. So even though that's my job and my law firm, these were all people, most of them are a decade younger than me, much less entrepreneurial experience. So I feel like that was me just doing my thing, but at like the deepest level that I can go. And so it isn't necessarily a shift per se, as it is, okay, that's when I'm all the way in and I'm like doing work with the people or for the people. That's not scalable. And I don't necessarily want to be that involved in most businesses that I don't own. The process now, I mean, listen, I'll be honest, it hasn't been easy because, as is with most people, the positives are also the negatives, right? My pros are my cons. And this is most business plans. Like when you recognize that and you see both sides of the coin, you have an opportunity because now you understand your reality. And I see the disparate pieces and I connect the dots that are far away. And there's no way to start a business right? Like, especially when you're trying to go find clients on LinkedIn or social media or wherever, like, hey, I could do anything for anyone, hire me. Like, no one hires that guy ever. And that's where I started, and that's where you found me. And
That's where everybody starts.
right. So we've been slowly working it back into um this culmination of, like, I know it's the entrepreneur, but there's two sides of this that I care about. And this is, I think I'm not there yet in deciding which one I go all in on and which one I niche. And I- I'm reluctant. And part of me is like, damn it, I'm going to prove to the world that I can do both of these. Like, there's a piece of me there. And one is that new business startup, right? Like, a piece of what I kind of fell in love with you as a friend, right? Like, you, just in the year I've known you, your business has changed and grown. You've changed and grown. Like, it's awesome. I'm not taking any credit for that because we were just being friends and hanging out, but I was intrigued by it, right? Like, that's something I really, really enjoy. And I don't want to step away from helping those people that are taking that first step because it's the most important step. And yet, I know there's a bunch of people that circumstance allowed them to get over that hurdle, and they're facing the one that I faced a decade into my entrepreneurial career, which is the problems out there, except it isn't. It's all in here. And unlocking that perspective of self and conscious leadership and conscious entrepreneurship, mindful business building is so freaking powerful. And when someone already has product market fit and they have some customers, but like, it's not either it's toxic inside the work environment, or they're burnt out and they're starting to get sour on their own project. Like, man, I got some skills and some insights there too that really light me up. And when you can impact that type of entrepreneur, it's an exponential benefit because of all their employees. When you get somebody at the top of an organization that their mind flips and they become less reactive and they become more mindful and conscious of their environments and their feelings and their communication patterns and like the soft machine inside of their business, that changes people's lives that work for them and at the homes of those people as well. And
that's the impact that you want to have. I struggle very much with the same thing, where I want to help the people that are like me, that have, or, a few steps behind where I was.
right.
But then there's also a more lucrative, I want to help these companies that have more employees and more budgets and all that, right? And I can help them, kind of do the same thing. And I feel like it's somewhat less fulfilling, but it's also less money, right? It's hard to do that, right? And so I see where you're coming from on that, but we can come back to that. But what I really want to go with is something you said about, the problems are out there, or the problems seem to be out there, but they're really in here. Tell me what you meant by that.
What I mean by that is that the saying I have is every business problem is a self problem in a different costume. And the business problem is circumstance. It could be not enough customers. It could be it's raining today when I wanted to take sunny pictures for my ad program. It could be I can't find the right employee, or this employee doesn't listen to me the right way and act how I want. I mean, there's literally no shortage of things that happen. They happen,
Right.
and they're external to you. And then you react to them. And the vast majority of our issues are inside of our preference for what we wish it were and how we react to how it is. And that is your personal life. And you bring your person into your work life, which is why I don't like work life. But there's one life. You have one life. You're one person. I mean, there's some people with medical diagnoses, but we're going to go ahead and say there's one person and there's one life. And you show up wearing whatever costume you want. And if you're able to put on a different costume at work and play a whole different role, that should be a sign. Like, number one, like yellow, orange flag. You might be doing it healthy, so it isn't red flag yet, but I can guarantee you, either in your home life, you're getting burnt out and you're using work to escape your home life, and do not do that. Like, we got books written by people that do that, right? And they all have regrets, and they're on their sixth wife or this and that. And like, that is not the path that I want to take, or for the clients that I want to work with. And I know you personally, like, that's not your path either. So, or it's the flip side. You get energy and you are grounded and you are in flow at home. But when you come to work, you got to act a different way. You got to be a different way. You got to do something different. And that's not good either. I did that. So not at the start of cannabis, because I got to just be myself. I got to be a t-shirt wearing attorney with a sleeve of tattoos, and like, this is the greatest thing ever. And no wonder my business took off, and people came to me, and it was very easy. Then I went to start consulting, the people who had just raised 500 million and their brother-in-law was cutting a $50 million check, and they were flying in on the jet, and all of a sudden, like, my dress code started coming back up, and I started feeling like I was in second year law school all of a sudden again. Like, I was playing a game. I got to show up. I got to wear this. And I killed the game, but I killed myself too. And then I had to rebuild my whole company because I realized I had partners in here I didn't want. I didn't like, that was the first dismantling of my cannabis company, right? Like, just, here's 50% of the assets. You take them and leave because I can't grow with you here. Go. Right. And vice versa, because I wanted something totally different for my life and the people that I worked with. And then I had to come back through it again. And so when I say the problem is out there, number one, it's not actually a problem. It's just something that happened. It's just some manifestation of energy. It's a customer said no, a customer said yes. The programmer didn't get you your code on time. Like, whatever it is, it's just life unfolding.
Right.
Right. And then you're reacting to it. And inside of your reaction is the opportunity or the real problem. And that's the work. And well, geez, it just sounds like a personal therapist, Trav. What are you talking about, entrepreneur? Because when we find ourselves through that process of the business and our customers and our staff that are counting on us, and we feel accountable to them and responsible for them, in my world and experience, that's when you might get a little crack in the door and be like, you know what, I'm willing to go in. They're worth it. But sometimes it's just you in your house at night, and your little kid comes out and he asks the question, am I worth it? And maybe you just shut that door and go to bed, drink another beer, hit the joint, don't do, like, that is very common behavior. But sometimes they'll open it up for that thing they wanted to start, even for the wrong reasons. I want to reach that revenue threshold. I want to show my teacher that I could, like, even if it's an external pursuit, if I can get the door open and we start looking in at who's running the business, right? Impact.
Yo, if you are a founder and expert who really understands how important video is to grow your business, but you don't have time to mess around with cameras, write scripts, do video editing, or blow your entire budget on a fancy film crew, that's exactly what we help with at Video on Easy Mode. You are literally watching how it works in this episode right now. We make it easy to create high quality, natural video content to help you grow your business and grow your brand without leaving the comfort of your home or office. So if this sounds like something that your business can use right now, either scan the QR code or hit the link in the description. It's all remote. All you got to do is show up to a virtual studio, hang out with me for about an hour, and you're going to get a month's worth of videos. And let's get back into the interview. There's like obviously a lot of inner work that happens, right? And there's a lot of people that are very resistant to that inner work. And I feel like it also then becomes hard for anybody that does this inner work. Like, this is what they do for a living, right? Is like help people kind of, get through some of these life challenges or whatever, right? I feel like they have a really hard time marketing themselves because, again, a lot of people don't want to admit that they're the problem, or that they have to do this kind of, self-discovery and inner work and whatnot. So how do you kind of overcome that hurdle when you start working with somebody that, hey, a lot of this is going to be you working on yourself versus, things that obviously, we're going to work on the business too.
Right.
Right. Like, cause I'm
Well,
saying that you don't work on the business, right? Like you do,
we do.
but like, how do you kind of set the right expectation for them on the inner work side?
Well, one idea I have that I'm in the middle of working through is an app that asks survey questions as people are coming in for where are my problems in my business. And the concept for me is that they get to, in complete privacy, blame whoever or whatever external for the problems on the business. And the questions are going to funnel down into, okay, so I see the problem with your business, Danny, is in your team. Or Jackie, I see here it's the customers. They're not using the product right. And so your problems with your customer. And now we've entered. And we know, because you and I have talked about this, but for anybody listening, that wherever you find the problem, so if it's in the team, you say, okay, um, you know, my product team isn't working fast enough. They never deliver me what they want. Okay, well then let's go take a look back at one step earlier in the machine. Do they have the right tools to deliver the thing that you wanted? And we start dissecting pieces of the machine. And eventually we find, oh man, well, we need this process fixed and we need a piece of software that can do this. Or, you know what, they're hammering in nails with a screwdriver. Let's get them two hammers instead. And maybe, next month we can get the air gun and speed this thing up. Okay, awesome. Well, that just changed the output. Well, then who do we need to talk to next? Oh, the customer comes before the machine. Let's let the customer know that this wall is going to be built slower this month, but next month we'll get up 3 walls. Excellent. Who's going to communicate that? Well, why don't you, since it's your company? Now, what's the message you want? Now, all of a sudden, where are we? Back to self. It
Right.
doesn't matter where you come in when you follow those problems, but we can talk about, and this, I just went through this in 30 seconds, but it might be 90 days of dissecting a machine, right? Like when I came into the law firm, the first big change I made was 90 days in, and it was, we're killing the full staff meeting. Your department heads need their own meeting that you're not in. And this is for my own little brother, who was the
Mm-hmm.
managing partner. They have a title of director. The problem is you're in their meeting. And so they defer to you. It's not even your fault. And it's not their fault. Like, it's just what's happening. So let's change the machine to where you're busy at that time because you weren't invited to the meeting. And then guess what they will do? They'll step into the space and they'll lead. And they're going to make all sorts of mistakes. But then we'll know what things they're naturally good at and what stuff we need to train them on. And then I can coach them over here. And then their staff will start bringing their problems and they'll start solving their staff's problems. And guess what they'll get? Esteem and on it goes. Now, if the machine doesn't solve all the problems, then we go back and we look at the customer and then we look at the self, which is what we did at the law firm a year after that. We got back to self eventually. We ran our whole strategy session again and all of our core messaging, and we realized that we were directional, but we weren't fully authentic. We changed our tagline. We changed the messaging to our staff internally and externally to our customer. We set up an entirely new marketing campaign that opened for the first time the ability for the third partner who 100% was against radio and billboards because he didn't want to be one of those kind of law firms. And frankly, I feel it. I don't want to be one of those kind of law firms. But all of a sudden, when our tagline came out and we realized that for us at CGH, it's more than money. Are you willing to put that on a billboard? You're goddamn right I am, because everyone else has, I'll get you $1 million, $ Joe, right? Well, now all of a sudden we get to grow because we went from, see how they all like, it connects. And that's a law firm. I've got a software developer. She's been one of my clients. She's been, the VP of product for $250 million, VC backed software companies. And she's over here building her own thing. And we went through a couple calls, and I sent her a questionnaire, and she filled it all out. And I was like, I love this because you're trying to raise money, but you realize you just wrote your whole thing that the venture company is your customer. Keep this and redo the whole thing for the coaches who are going to use your app. And she's like, oh my God, I can't believe I missed that. Right?
Mm.
That's the self to connect to customer connection. So we found an opportunity because she hasn't built it yet. Customer will, well, I got esteem from being this title at this company that got these VCs to put this much money in. Well, no wonder you would start your company from that perspective of I need to do this, right? You don't have to prove shit to anybody. You got this. Your product, your idea, like, I'm blown away. Like, can I invest? There was an honest question I asked her, right?
Yeah.
Like, this is the real deal. But so wicked smart people, brand new people, like it, for me, the process ends up being the same. That's a long way around, and probably you could re-ask me the question and I can answer it appropriately next time. But,
well, we're digging into like your kind of proprietary system, right?
Gotcha.
Right, like we're kind of like hitting on the different pieces of your system. So why don't you kind of just like walk through the MVP, right?
Right.
Like,
So
why don't you walk through like what that is and like, how some of the pieces connect, because I think we're scratching the surface of that right now.
happy to do that. So MVP is the mindful business paradigm. And there's parts that come out underneath that: mindful business plan, the processing. There'll be the Pulse eventually, which is another app that I'm working on that will go out and pull anonymously your internal staff so that you get feedback on the emotions that are moving through your company at any given point. But nobody ever has to suffer the consequences of being the first person to go and raise their hand.
Right.
Which is a big barrier that I've seen even in very forward conscious companies. And the premise there is that it's real simple. It's the same thing we started with, that it's external and it's internal. And if we go and build our business the same way we would build up ourselves, the same way that Gandhi talks about, the same way that Jesus wrote about, right? Like, these are the masters of our universe, all talk about life the same way, right? From inside out, and accepting in and what is, and staying calm and moving forward through that energy and letting it go. We'll manifest that in a million different ways. Well, that's how we still need to build our businesses. And so the MVP mindfully starts with, if you were going to start and write your own business plan, you would answer the questions about self. You would identify your strengths and weaknesses. You would go through those core components, and you would understand what work you have to do over the next quarter or 9 or forever, frankly. That connection is, who am I and what do I have to give? Am I a gift giver, or am I the gift? And that sets the seat, the original seat in your business. And everything that happens after that needs to help and complement who you are sitting in your seat. So I have this gift. I'm going to give it to this person. Now I define my customer. How do they get the gift? One, they get something transactional. They get a service or they get a good. You buy a hat, a t-shirt, a food, easy mode. I purchased an easy mode today. Excellent. That's the transaction. Now, how do I feel going through that process and receiving back my content? That is the rest of your gift bundle. So you've given the service and you've given the part of yourself. And you and I have talked about this. You're the gift. You have great ideas. You have all these things. You hand people back content. But what you're doing with me right now, where was my attitude 15 minutes ago when I walked in and I was,
you were low,
right? I was low energy. And what did you just do for me, Danny?
Yeah,
because you're the gift. And this is the way that it is every single time. And that's not an arrogant thing. There's no better of the gift or the gift giver. It's just you and your natural flow. You ask me the right questions. You make me feel the right way. So that's what you're giving. Great. Now we have our customer defined. How do I scale that customer? Where do they live? What would they want if they were going to give this gift bundle to people like them and we were going to scale it? Well, that starts the framework, the architecture of the machine. And when you want a house, you go and you do the architecture first. I want it to look like this. I want it to feel like this. When people show up, I want them to get a hug on the front. I would say my home on my front porch, like, what? It's like, why'd you buy that home? Because it was a great big hug. Everyone that pulls up to my house gets a hug before they even walk in. That's like whoever designed my house. It was amazing. Now we know what we want. So we got the architecture. You know what architecture is good for in building? Nothing. You know how I know that? All my friends are builders. It's the engineers, right? So now you got to engineer it. Otherwise, it doesn't matter what I wanted to look like. It's just a pipe dream, right? It's just a drawing on the wall. We got to engineer it. So that's the hard machine. You got the soft machine. What does it feel like to walk in my house? What does it feel like to be in my meetings, Danny? Is it a safe place? Are we aggressive? What do we reward? How do we talk about our feelings? Are our families welcome inside of our work environment? Soft machine. Hard machine. What are the processes, the procedures? What are our tools? What are the accountability metrics? What happens if I screw up? Like yada, yada, yada. Architecture, engineering. Now that I understand what I'm building, who I'm building it for, and what its job is to give my gift, my heart, my permission, my mind, myself, my artwork, whatever it is, to this customer. And I understand the machine is, now who am I going to get to join my team who's going to uniquely honor both what I want to give and the tool I'm providing them to give it with? These are the people that never leave your company. These are the people you go on stage and you say, oh, thank God. Like this is, what do you, even Steve Jobs, love him or hate him, what does he say? The greatest thing he ever invented at Apple was his team. Like, he's not playing around. He's not mincing words. Like, it's actual. That's what all that process is for, because you can't do it by yourself. And that is why in my book is titled Your Team Comes Last. It's not because I'm an asshole. It's because I want to take care of them. I want to give them everything they deserve, because if they don't want to be there, they can't serve my customer. But if they do love my customer and they do like what I want to give, they'll never want another job as long as they live, right? And that is what I want to provide them, because then they leave their job and they go home happy with more energy, and they build awesome communities and families, and they're good neighbors, and they don't rage bait on Facebook or Instagram and like on and on and on. Like, let's fix the world this way, bro.
I don't think we can come up with like a better place to end this. So we'll stop here. So just tell everybody where they can find you.
You can find me on LinkedIn at Travis Lee Howard. You can find me at cghlawfirm.com and, look up the MVP.